I took a company from struggling to tripling their sales in 14 days, and I'm going to share with you my 7-part sales script framework that helped me do this. So the first thing I did was I took a deep dive into their current process to see what was wrong, because they had been struggling for 3 months at that point. And what I found was, number one, they had no sales process, and two, they had no accountability to their salespeople. Basically, it was a complete free-for-all. So part one of the framework is taking control. If you're not taking control of your lead, they're taking control of you. So the first thing we had to do was establish authority on that call. Now, the way that we did that was putting in an agenda, right? So as soon as we can, when we get onto that phone call, we should be establishing an agenda of what we're going to do on that call. And that helps us get into that position of authority and control because we framed that call at that point. They know that we're about to go through a very specific structure. Now, part number two, which is questions. There's really 3 main types of questions that I like to focus on and go deeper on in the course of the process. The first one is, why are they doing this, right? We're getting motivation. We're understanding their deeper reasoning behind this. Now, we have to make sure we get deep here. On everything that I say right now, make sure you get deep. We need to understand that true vulnerability or that true need or pain and desire that they have so that we can actually use that as ammunition, as I'll talk about later here in just a sec. The second thing is future vision. Okay, where would they like to see themselves? Make them picture where they would like to see themselves. Again, go deeper, get granular, get very detailed on this. The more detailed you get, the more that they're going to feel. And number 3 is, why now and not later? Why is this such a priority, right? Why are you looking to do this right now? The more you can get them to commit to their journey, the more you can get them to actually buy in at the end, because now they see this as a way of being able to achieve the thing that they're now committed to or prioritizing in their life. So again, these are the questions. Get deeper through each of these categories. Now, part 3 of the framework is gain commitment from them on their goals and their vision. Before you try to get them to actually commit to you and your product and service and company, they have to actually be committed to their goals and their vision that they have for themselves. That now becomes a priority for them. Okay, you do not want to move on into anything until you have made sure that they're completely 100% committed to their goal and vision, so they can't go backwards on that. So you're locking it in to make sure that they can't give you an excuse later. Okay, so part 4 of the framework is just breaking down your offer as a journey instead of a feature and benefit, right? So what we did in our framework, which is we put together the journey that they're about to go through with us. And in that journey, what we talk about is, number 1, what you're going to do versus what you're going to get. We always talk about here's what you're going to receive, what you're going to get. We talk about what are you going to do in the course of this process. Then through that, the next thing is, how does that tie into hitting your goals, right? So the actual framework is, here's what you're going to do, here's how that's going to impact you and your goals, and then here's what that's going to allow you to do moving forward, or what you're going to have moving forward. That exact structure makes it to where they get more and more committed throughout the process. Next thing is, customize your offer to their specific needs, wants, and desires, right? This is where you go to expert level. Make sure that you're tying it all back into exactly what their needs are that they've told you. That's the ammunition I talked about earlier when you're breaking down why are they doing this? What are their actual desires? That's all ammunition you're collecting and then using it here, right? You're tying it all right back in for them, so it becomes a no-brainer for them later on. So part number 5 of the framework is gaining another commitment from them, but this time the commitment being the commitment to the process that we just talked about, right? Versus their goals and visions, right? We're talking about, are you now committed to this process and going through this process moving forward? We don't want to move on unless they're 100% committed to the process. Okay, part 6, we implemented what we called an approval. Okay, so in our sales processes, it's always, the majority of the time, there is an approval they have to get from us before they are able to move forward, right? That's how our sales processes are structured. So we make sure that they get that approval by the end. We hold it in our back pocket, let them know that if everything is going to work out, we'll give them that approval, and so on and so forth. So this is a point where we give them the approval and let them know that with everything that we've talked about and planned for, we now feel confident about moving them forward in the course of the process, and we issue them that approval. All right, so part 7 of the framework is usually where you drop the price, right? So you've given them the approval, and now you're going to drop the price for them and get them moving forward in the course of the process and handle whatever you need to handle at that point. For us, it was a little different. We implemented a process where they knew the price before they actually got there. So now what we did was planning. So what we would do is, instead of focusing on them making the investment, we would focus on getting them onboarded properly. And so them making the investment was just a given. So we gave them our approval. Now we're going to go through our onboarding steps. We're going to go through our signing our agreement, and then letting them know as just one part of the whole thing for them to go ahead and send us the funds. Okay, so we'd work out the timeline around that, gain commitment around that, and all that good stuff. Okay, but the whole point being that we assumed that they were going to do it because we issued them the approval and they're there. Now we're just going to move them forward through the rest of the process. So guys, this framework is what allowed us to triple sales in 2 weeks. Our salespeople finally had an actual structure to follow and accountability to that structure. And because they had that, they were able to make a lot more sales. All right, I'm going to go into a lot more depth on each one of these areas areas in future videos. So again, make sure to subscribe if you haven't, if this is something that you're interested in. But the whole point being, guys, that we gave them a structure, we held them accountable to that structure, and because they were able to do the same thing time and time again, they were able to get a lot more predictable results, leading to us tripling sales. Now guys, comment below and let me know your thoughts around what I talked about here today, and if you have any questions on this, or maybe you do something a little bit different. But regardless, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got value from it, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.